Welcome back to another daily drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and the topic today is Carolina football. We learned Sunday evening after a very long wait, a long wait that was too long, unnecessary, but there was a lot of bartering and maneuvering and jockeying and discussions among several ACC teams and bowls to try to figure out who was going to go where, who would be satisfied with what, etc. And the Tar Heels land in the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte, which is a site and bowl and sponsored, not exactly unfamiliar to Carolina fans. And I saw the immediate reaction, not just on social media, because it's wise to not gauge all vibe based on what social media does. People on social media, it's some personal friends too. They're like, really? The Mayo Bowl? I get it. Carolina was there 2 years ago. Horrible performance against South Carolina. Heels weren't ready, didn't take it seriously. And it's where they started this season. And it's where they played a few years ago against South Carolina to start a season. I think maybe some fans wanted something different. I get all that. I understand. Also, the way the season ended, there's not a lot of excitement right now for this game. But I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why I think you should pick up the excitement a little bit. And also, we'll very quickly poke in. I'm not going to dive in. We'll just poke in a little bit about West Virginia. Trey Scott will have something later this week on our site where he goes much more in depth about West Virginia. And guys, we got 3 weeks to talk about it. And we will. We'll talk about it. We'll write about it. And of course, we will have a large contingent of our staff at the game. It's December 27th, 5:30 p.m., ESPN against West Virginia. I like this matchup. West Virginia is a program that has kind of had quite a few ups, and then they go some valleys. They're sort of like this a lot over time. I remember West Virginia playing very important games back in the Major Harris days and in the 80s and the 90s when Eastern football was a little bit more important than it is now. Penn State against West Virginia, Pitt against West Virginia against Syracuse, Boston College. And of course, they had an annual rivalry with Maryland for a long time. And as a guy who grew up in the D.C. area, that was a big deal when West Virginia and Maryland would play. And of course, you have West Virginia and Virginia Tech had a nice thing going there for a while. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, the ACC should have gone after West Virginia in the summer of 2022. Should have gone after them and brought them in because they're going to generate more eyeballs than Stanford or Cal will. No doubt about it. Anyway, different topic for a different time. So I think Carolina fans should be excited for a couple of reasons. One, it's an opportunity to get a ninth win. So anytime you have a chance to get to a ninth win in a season, as unhappy as people are right now, that's still a good thing. And that would still qualify as a good season for just about any program. And absolutely for this one. If the Tar Heels can win, it'll be just the third time since Mac left in 1997 that North Carolina's won at least 9 games in a season. It happened last year. And then it happened 2015, they won 11. So for the people who want to run Mac out of town, Orange Bowl a couple of years ago, and then back-to-back 9-win seasons. Like, who else has done that since he was there the first time? Who else has done that? Nobody has had any kind of sustained success at any level at UNC since, other than Mac, since Dick Crum, and he eventually got fired. Now, Butch Davis had something going a little bit, but we all know how that played out. So, I also think it's an opportunity to go see your team that you care about nearby. And if Drake plays, closing out his college career in his hometown, chance to see him play again. And again, I think the opportunity to win. This team needs to win. They need to beat somebody legitimate. I think West Virginia would qualify as a legitimate opponent. They were 8-4, with 6-3 in the Big 12, which is a good league. Has some pretty nice wins. In fact, got the schedule right here because I haven't memorized everything. The one common opponent is Pittsburgh, by the way. West Virginia beat Pittsburgh 17-6 in Morgantown, and in a very offensively challenged game for both teams. A week later, the Tar Heels went up to Pittsburgh and beat them 41-21 up there. So that's the one common opponent. West Virginia's other wins of note, Texas Tech, they beat them by 7. They won at TCU. They won at Central Florida by 13. They beat BYU. They clobbered BYU. They beat Cincinnati badly, and they won at Baylor. The losses are to Penn State by 23 points. They lost at Houston by 2 in a thrilling game. I remember some of that. They lost at Oklahoma. They lost to Oklahoma State, and they lost to Oklahoma, got pounded by the Sooners. So this is probably a team that's about like UNC coming in here to this game, but UNC, if Drake plays, has Drake. And I think that given the climate around Carolina football, not so much in the Keenan Football Center, but elsewhere, Tar Heels should have a lot of motivation. Go into this game, take care of business, and beat a club, beat a program that has had considerable success before. I think a lot of you younger fans might remember Pat White and some of those teams. When Dabo Swinney, when he was early in his tenure at Clemson, you might recall West Virginia putting 70 on the board in the Orange Bowl against Clemson. And that was sort of who Clemson was at the time. And people thought it's never going to change. They called it Clemsoning when they would lose to somebody they shouldn't lose to. And that bowl game just reassured to people who wanted to believe that Clemson could no longer be relevant nationally and Dabo wasn't the guy. That was sort of something that they all focused on, zeroed in on. Well, it changed. And it could change for North Carolina too. Winning a game like this, beating a quality non-conference opponent, someone who's better than Minnesota, someone who's better than South Carolina, I think would be a really nice way for this team to close the season. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure the last time UNC beat a non-conference team as, I'm not going to say as good as West Virginia, because I don't know how good they are, but they're pretty solid. So this would qualify maybe as the best non-conference win of the MAC era, part 2, and maybe in a while. They usually have not done very well in games like this because it turned out South Carolina wasn't very good. Turned out Minnesota wasn't very good. So a little bit on South Carolina before I get going. And we're going to have a ton of stuff. So this is just a snapshot. This is just to whet the appetite a little bit about this game, some of my thoughts, and also a little bit about the Mountaineers. They are number 27 nationally in offense. They're averaging 438 yards a game. Number 3 rushing offense. So you start to think about matchups. Ooh, Carolina fans don't want to hear that because the Tar Heels stopping the run has been something that has not improved this year as much as it should have improved. Passing offense is rated 92nd, so the Mountaineers are going to run. They're going to try to be physical. The scoring offense, they're 38th, 31.6 points. And yes, I am reading this. I can't memorize all this stuff. Total defense, 70th, 384 yards. Their rushing defense is 47th. That's okay. Passing yards allowed is 92nd. I like to look at defensive passing efficiency more. That's 82nd. Turnover margin, 63rd. Third down conversions, they're 59th. Fourth down, they're 62nd. Defensively, they're about the same. Red zone offense, 76. Red zone defense, 73rd. There's nothing that really pops here. First downs, they have 28. First downs allowed, they're 56. So they're meh. It's a meh team. It's an okay team, but so is North Carolina. But the reality is that's what the Tar Heels are. It didn't seem that way 7 weeks ago when they were 6-0 and 10th in the country. They were looking pretty good in a lot of these statistical categories, but turned out they're kind of meh. So this is meh versus meh, and it would be a good win for the team that wins. So I do think this is an important opportunity for Carolina to go into the offseason with some positivity and a chance to beat a solid program that has a nice history, that's not too far away, a program that should be in the ACC. They screwed up on that one. And also get Carolina a 9th win for just the 3rd time since 1997. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you're more excited now than you were, say, 12 hours ago. Let me know if you think that this would be a good way for Carolina to close the season, beating a team like West Virginia. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know if you think this is absurd. You don't want to go. You're tired of this team. You want the season to end and you're looking forward to next year. Whatever your thoughts are, let us know on Twitter. Let us know on our website, tarheelillustrated.com. Let us know on Facebook. Let us know wherever we are. Stop me at a game and say, AJ, I don't want to play West Virginia, or say, AJ, I can't wait to play West Virginia. Let us know what you think. If you are excited about Carolina having one more football game to play, go ahead and click like on this video. If you're not, click like on the video as well. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so you get updates every time we upload a video, which is often. I got a basketball pre-UConn one coming that we're going to update. We're going to upload the Tuesday drop probably at midnight Monday because there's not a whole lot of time between. I have to travel and get up to New York anyway. So I'll be there covering basketball. A bunch of us will be in Charlotte on December 27th for the football game. I'm AJ, and I'll see you tomorrow.